Hi, welcome to Box on and Box Up and Celluloid. Bit of TV recall today. The Box. Sapphire and Steel. How do you describe Sapphire and Steel? All irregularities will be handled by the forces controlling each dimension. Transuranic heavy elements may not be used where there is life. Medium atomic weights are available. Gold, lead, copper, jet, diamond, radium, sapphire, silver and steel. Sapphire and Steel have been assigned. So that was the opening credits sequence. Over that you had the animated visuals of the elements. Apparently in the sixth and final assignment, lead was replaced with mercury in the opening credits. How do you describe this show? What is Sapphire and Steel? Sapphire and Steel I'd describe them as time agents. Are they aliens? Are they human? Are they time travellers? I'm not sure. But when there's some irregularity in the space-time continuum at any given point in a situation, in history, in time, in a house, in a place, they will come down, appear, and try and work out what is going on. And they can talk to each other telekinetically. Joanna Lumley's character Sapphire can kind of touch things and tell what time they're from, and she can kind of feel things, feel when there's a presence, feel when something's not right. Steel has various skills as well. So where would you place this? Basically it was shown on TV. It was first shown 10th of July 1979. And each series was really spread out. They kind of, we'll come to it, but they it was like they didn't really know what to do with it. To put it into the context of the time, this was a dark sci-fi fantasy show. And it was on, if you remember, Doctor Who's on at, Saturday night after they've done the football scores. But this was on midweek, I always remember. And at that time, I imagine Coronation Street's on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and I seem to remember this being on around that time. Now, I don't know if it was before or after Coronation Street. It was probably on a different day. But I've just got this feeling it was on at 7:30, 8 o'clock. The other thing as well, with the time it's shown, I always remember it being light quite often. So it's just a very strange show. It kind of copied the Doctor Who format in the sense that each episode was 25 minutes and had a cliffhanger. So it was clear that the creator, PJ Hammond, although it wasn't going for that, it was kind of trying to be ITV sort of Doctor Who type thing. And I suppose they are kind of time travellers. Just a completely unique show. Just quickly, what would say? I haven't watched this for a good while. So my memory's a bit shot. But what was interesting when I first watched it, when I came back to it, which was about the early 90s, and someone showed me some episodes, was just how creepy and scary and just strange it was. You just can't, there's nothing like this on TV at the time, and there's been nothing like it since. It's kind of like The Prisoner in that way. You just can't kind of pigeonhole it. So the first series consists of two stories. The first story's 6 episodes long and the second story's 8 episodes long. So series 1 is like 14 episodes. So it's basically that quarter of a year type of thing, which you get with a lot of British TV shows where there'll be 13 episodes, like Professionals, Sweeney and so on. So this has got like a family lives in an 18th century farmhouse. There's clocks and antiques in there. And then they read a ring of roses to a little girl, and then stuff goes weird. It triggers a fracture in time, and the girl disappears from her parents. So what she's in a different time zone in the house, and I can't remember. It's kind of to do with the clocks and stuff in it. It makes really good use of the ring of roses. Nursery rhymes can be creepy at the best of times. It makes really good use of that. Sapphire and Steel appear, and they they investigate. That's what they do. At the time, the casting of McCallum and Joanna Lumley can't be underestimated. Joanna Lumley had been in the New Avengers. So prior to this, she'd been in various things. But the New Avengers was a big hit show in Britain because it was the reboot of the Avengers. And we only did one series because it wasn't successful abroad. But Joanna Lumley was a major pin-up. She had a really famous sort of bob haircut, the Purdy look. And yeah, I mean, she looks amazing. She looks amazing now. This was big casting, and David McCallum was a stalwart of British and American TV and film. Had been a great escape. A lot of 50s, 60s films. He was in Invisible Man, the TV show, in the mid-70s on American TV. It's funny, David McCallum's always looked a bit younger than he is. I think by this point he's in his late 40s, but I think he's quite short stature, so he's never looked his age to me. A really good actor. And that's one of the strengths, is the way they play off each other, and because they've got this telekinetic power, they can talk to each other, in each other's heads. A bit like, Kylo Ren and what's her face, Rey. It's really good. So yeah, the first episode was good, spooky, and then the second episode story is probably, apologies, it's 8 episodes long. This is probably the most famous one. This is the one that everyone remembers from when they were kids, and you would just refer to it as the one set in a railway station. What I should say is that none of these have titles. There's the one set at the farmhouse, the one set in the railway station. So the one set in a railway station, it's really creepy. There's some kind of time anomaly. There's this creeping black shadow that crawls through the railway station. I guess it's trying to eat time, and it involves a World War One soldier, World War Two, also Armistice Day, stuff like that. Forgive me, I can't remember the plots. These are complicated. The complicated plots, again, very complicated for primetime TV. This was actually interrupted by a technician's strike in 1979. I think they actually, did the story from the beginning again. So that was the end of the first series. That was probably the strongest. And then the next series, that was July to November 79. And then there's a big gap. The next series 2 came out in 81, January and February. So again, it's that strange thing where it's like the TV company's not totally sure what to do with it, I think. It's kind of like, oh, right, well, let's put it in there, because we haven't got anything else. There's the third story, 6 episode long, involves a couple living in a modern apartment. In fact, they're from the 35th century, and the apartment is a time capsule. I don't remember this one that well. I remember this is one of the few ones that uses kind of exterior location photography. A lot of Sapphire steel. It's studio sets, filmed on video. So it has that, that look of a play, a look of 70s, although it's an ITV show, that look of 70s BBC-ness, as I call it. But I think there is some exterior stuff on the roof of this apartment, but don't quote me. Silver appears in this as another element, played by an actor called David Collins, who you probably recognise. I think he's been in Doctor Who and stuff. So there's that episode story, and then the next one's part 4, Phantom Children with sepia-toned skin play in the backyard of an almost deserted apartment building. I seem to remember them not having any eyes. Maybe got kind of masks on. Again, just really creepy, and something's coming from the photograph. This is a creepy one. There's a photograph, and again, it's that an apparitions, coming out of the photo through time. It says it's powerful enough to turn Sapphire and Steel into literal 2-dimensional versions of themselves. So I think there's a bit where Sapphire and Steel become kind of flattened off. Don't quote me. Long time since I've seen this. Again, just really weird, majorly weird. Then series 3 is just one story again, and you've got a gap. This is in August, so yeah, this comes out the same year. This is set at a dinner party where people are dressing up like it's a 1930s dinner party. It was well shot. This makes really good use of Joanna Lumley's eyes. I think there's bits where she's kind of, when she does things with her eyes, they put this effect in her eyes. Sapphire's eyes go sapphire blue. She's got like amazing blonde hair and wears a blue sort of dress, and makes great use of a star quality. So this is a good one. Again, there's more like time things have to solve. I can't remember the plot totally if you go on Wikipedia, but when you read the plots of these things, you just need to see it. Like I said, I haven't watched it for a good while. But just very, very strange. So the odd thing is, on the last series, it was just 4 episodes. So they've obviously broken up series 3 and 4. That should have been all series 3, I suppose. And then this didn't drop until a year later, so you just got these random 4 episodes. Again, that gives rise to the idea, I think, that the TV company, were kind of on the ITV were like, well, where do we put this? So this is set in an abandoned service station. It's adjoining cafes. It's quite interesting. It's supposed to be like people from 1948, so it's got that kind of post-war, pre-war kind of look. This is kind of really creepy. The end, basically, Sapphire and still get trapped in time. They get trapped in the service station cafe. And they're kind of floating in space. Yeah, and that's the show. So really, I recommend people watching it and read through the plot things, the stories on Wikipedia or a good website guide, and it'll give you a better insight into it. But I'd say the series 1's excellent, and the one with the Phantom Children. In actual fact, it's the one with a couple of modern apartment. That's the kind of weak one that doesn't work for me. The other ones work really well. Just unique TV. You can't really imagine anything being shown like it now. I mean, even something like Netflix is just I can't really describe it. If you've not seen this, it's just a very strange show. But anyway, I don't think I've sort of done it justice, but I just want to patter about it. It was a cool show back in the day for me. And check it out, Sapphire and Steel. Come over, share and subscribe. If you're interested in album reviews, classic albums, head over to my Edward Box Guitar Tuition channel as well. And share and subscribe. Cheers, thanks for checking it out. Bye now.